The night of October 31, 1929, Blackwood Manor stood ablaze with candlelight. Perched on the edge of the Yorkshire moors, the Harrington estate had hosted masquerade balls for 3 generations. Guests arrived in satin masks and feathered cloaks, their laughter echoing through the stone halls. Among them was Lady Evelyn Harrington herself, elegant, widowed, and newly in possession of a vast inheritance. Following her husband's sudden death 6 months earlier, that evening, she greeted her guests in a gown of crimson silk, a diamond pendant gleaming at her throat. By midnight, she had vanished without a trace. The alarm was raised when the bell tolled 12. The butler, sent to summon Lady Harrington for the unmasking ritual, found her private chambers locked from within. When the door was forced, the room lay empty. The window opened onto the moor, but the ground below was untouched by footprints. Her pendant lay on the vanity, her gown draped across a chair, as though she had stepped out of herself and disappeared into the air. Scotland Yard dispatched Detective Daniel Mercer, whose reputation for entangling the impossible had spread far beyond London. He arrived at Blackwood Manor the following morning, greeted by nervous servants and guests reluctant to depart. Rumors spread quickly. Some whispered of ghosts, others of foul play. The moors, shrouded in mist, seemed to swallow sound and light alike. Mercer began with the guests. Sir Alister Grant, an old family friend, insisted Evelyn had appeared anxious throughout the evening, often excusing herself from company. She feared something, though she would not say what, he confessed. Then there was Margaret Blackwood, a cousin estranged from the family who had returned only weeks before. Her presence stirred unease, for she had once quarreled bitterly with Evelyn's late husband over the will. She denied ill intent, claiming she sought only reconciliation. The servants provided other details. The maid, Clara, recalled carrying wine to Evelyn's chamber shortly before 11. Evelyn had dismissed her sharply, closing the door in haste. The butler swore he heard voices in the room though none had entered. Yet when Mercer questioned further, both fell strangely silent, as though fearing some unseen hand. The detective inspected the chamber. Dust on the windowsill lay undisturbed. The wardrobe was ajar, revealing gowns but no sign of struggle. On the floor beneath the rug, however, Mercer found a trapdoor cleverly concealed. It opened onto a narrow passage, descending into the old servant tunnels, relics from the manor's earliest days. Torch in hand, Mercer followed the passage. It twisted beneath the estate, lined with damp stone and cobwebs. At last it opened into a forgotten chamber, where decayed furniture lay scattered. In the center stood a wooden chair bound with rope, recently cut. Nearby rested a mask of crimson silk, stained dark at the edges. Mercer knew then that Lady Harrington had been taken, not vanished. But by whom, and why? Returning to the manor, he searched Evelyn's study. There he uncovered letters sealed in her late husband's hand. They spoke of debts, of creditors closing in, and of an investment that had gone terribly wrong. Worse, they hinted at a blackmail scheme, a threat of exposure that would ruin the Harrington name. Evelyn, newly widowed, had inherited both fortune and scandal. The pieces began to shift into place. Mercer summoned the guests once more to the great hall. Lady Harrington did not vanish by supernatural means, he declared. She was taken through the old servant tunnels. Her abductor planned it carefully, striking on a night when masks concealed every face. The question is, who among you had cause to wish her gone? Sir Alister denied involvement, but Mercer noticed sweat on his brow. Margaret Blackwood smirked, suggesting perhaps Evelyn had fled to escape shame. Yet when Mercer produced the rope from the underground chamber, her expression faltered. The butler then stepped forward, trembling. "It was not as, sir," he stammered. "But I know the tunnels well. Only one guest asked me of them this past week, Sir Alister." All eyes turned. Alister paled. "I sought only history, nothing more." But Mercer pressed on. He revealed a ledger he had found in Alister's luggage, a record of gambling debts owed to the same creditors who had once hounded Evelyn's husband. Alistair had planned to seize her wealth through marriage, but when Evelyn rejected him, he resorted to force. He had donned a mask, slipped into her chamber, and carried her through the hidden passage. Yet something had gone wrong, for she was nowhere to be found. At last, under the weight of evidence, Alistair confessed. I meant only to frighten her into agreement, to show her she was not untouchable. But when I returned to release her, she was gone. The manor fell silent. If Alistair spoke true, then Evelyn had escaped into the tunnels, but where? Mercer led a final search, tracing a second passage that wound beneath the moors. Hours later, they emerged at the ruins of an old chapel. There, lying cold upon the altar, was Lady Harrington. Her eyes stared sightless at the ceiling, her lips parted as if to speak. The marks on her wrists told of bonds, yet no wound betrayed her death. The physician declared it heart failure. Her terror alone had killed her. Sir Alistair was taken in chains, condemned for abduction and unlawful imprisonment. Yet Blackwood Manor never shed its shadows. Guests whispered that Evelyn's spirit still wandered the servant tunnels, crimson gown, whispering across the stones, searching for the life stolen from her by greed and fear. And every Halloween thereafter, when the clocks struck midnight, the butler swore he heard the faint echo of a woman's scream rising from beneath the manor floor. As though Lady Harrington relived her final flight again and again, forever bound to the house that betrayed her.